Let's talk about light language. Why do so many feel the urge to express themselves in this kind of way right now? Many people call it a bit woo-woo, speaking in this kind of like gibberish, but let me explain to you why it's not. So the following information that I'm going to share is a way that I usually communicate with my guides, and that is actually through light language. It's through light language, and also sometimes I combine it with automatic writing. So I will be reading most of this just to give you the correct wording of what was explained to me while I was busy doing this light language. And it is okay if it doesn't make sense to you. It is for your own discernment. You need to take what resonates with you. And when you know what resonates with you, you will simply just feel that feeling in your heart. And that is actually what light language is about. It's the language of feeling. So let's get right into the metaphysics of this. So everything holds a frequency and settles at a vibrational intention through energy in motion. The energy in motion moves at the vibrational rate that the frequency is attuned to. So the energy that drives vibrational frequency is actually light. In our experience, we are more familiar with the terms thoughts and intentions. Thought and intention creates belief, and the belief determines the frequency that the energy vibrates at. This specific motion, which is then experienced, which we call emotion. Every experience carries this emotion, which is then experienced through our emotions. The emotion triggers remembrance of a similar experience you have had through your subconscious memory in this lifetime or beyond. This is what we refer to as soul recognition, or resonating with the energy in motion at a soul level. This is very similar to listening to that favorite song, which then triggers memories from past experiences. So why speak this kind of gibberish if we can only speak in English with also thoughts and intentions? This is why. So our English language is an expression or a form of communication that actually only exists within the physical experience of the third dimension. However, language can be expressed in a fourth, fifth, and beyond dimensional language, but through certain frequencies and sound. So, when we move into the fifth dimensional experience, or also known as the sixth dimensional consciousness, communication actually becomes so expanded that it is no longer audible in the same sense in what we understand as communication in the third dimension. This is what is referred to as actual telepathy or telepathic sensing communication. So, the frequency of telepathy vibrates at a frequency that is no longer experienced in the same way that we experience within the third dimension. It can only be felt or intended, and therefore tapping into your soul language or light language is an actual audible form of what telepathy is like, and the type of communication that we actually learn when we expand. So when you hear someone who speaks in soul language, it might sound like jumbled up sounds in the third dimension, but actually they are speaking in specific frequencies and tones, translating an entire book of information that might only sound like 3 little sounds. Those 3 little sounds that the speaker is speaking can actually contain that intention and feeling behind it to shift entire realities. So this form of communication is extremely powerful when you start tapping into it. And when you start speaking your own soul language, you will start noticing this straight away, that you are literally shifting your reality on an extremely fast pace. So when you start speaking in soul language, intention is absolutely everything, because if you intend to say move cells in the body because of a disease or whatever like that, you might just get that result straight away because you are sitting in the feeling. You're creating from the feeling of where you are already healthy. Do you see what I mean? This is extremely powerful. So allow this for yourself. Allow yourself to tap into what is actually your expansion so that you can create from a manifesting point of what we call the 0 point energy, and that is from the heart. And that is what light language is. It's the language of feeling, which is the language of intention, which is thought, and which is ultimately light. Everything is light, even what we refer to as the negative experiences or negative emotions. Negative experiences, I like to see it as just slightly dimmed light, and you can dial into whatever you want to shine light on and make it brighter. So when you intend for what you want to create in your life, or you aim for what you desire to create in your life, this is where you actually step into the full embodiment of the full experience of being human. This is where you learn to be a creator from the human experience, or what we refer to as the physical experience. This is all the fifth dimension is. It is actually the human who shifts its mind into knowing itself. And that is all we are here to do. That is what it means to learn to work with energy. That is what it means to fully embody being human. That is what it means to come back to yourself. This is what ascension is. And soul language is just a small aspect of what actually helps us expand and remember how to live in the creation of intention, feeling, and ultimately light. And what is light but what we refer to as unconditional love? Unconditional love means to love unconditionally. That means neutrality. When you are neutral about whatever is happening on around you, accepting those things that is happening as valid experiences being chosen by others, then that is unconditional love. The only thing that you can do for yourself is to come back to what you want to experience. Shine your light, focus on your purpose, come back to your 0 point, your neutrality. And that is what we are here to do. That is what ascension is. We are here to learn every aspect of what there is to learn, accept it, and move into the unconditional neutral point or 0 point of our hearts. When you shine the light, you simply shine it so bright, and that's when others see it as well. And this is where others start shining their lights as well. So there is nothing that you need to do to convince anyone. You just need to convince yourself and remember who you are. You are unconditional love. You are light. And this is the only thing that we are here to learn. And that is what we learn when we learn to work with energy. Energy is just energy. Light is just light. And whatever we choose to experience, and we intend to focus on what we choose to experience, this is when we start to shift our realities.